Today we're going to talk about the benefits of the Bent Over Landmine Row. But before we get into that, if you want a plan and a strategy set up for you, jump into a program or jump into a strategy session. It's gritgym.com/SS, and that stands for strategy session. And we will sit down with you either here at Grit Gym or over the or over Skype, so we can do this over a digital medium on Zoom or on Skype or whatever, and we can make a plan and a strategy for you specific, and it's completely free. We just want to help. It's going to be 20 to 30 minutes of you and I one-on-one meeting up to figure out what's best use of your time and the plan for you. Now, with the Bent Over Landmine Row, this is an exercise of massive benefit. It is just an outrageously amazing exercise, but it looks really simple. All it is you're taking the V grip and you're putting it up at the top. You're getting set back into your hips. You're pulling the shoulders, and then you pull that so that the elbows come up to the torso, and then you're coming back down. Now, at first glance, this is like, oh, this isn't that big of a deal. Adam, what's so special about that? Well, there's a few things going on here. For one, just from the spine standpoint, okay, and I should mention, this exercise is not for everybody. It is not for everybody. Not everybody should be doing this exercise. It's completely dependent on you. Anybody with a lot of shear, that has trouble with shear stress at their low back, a lot of people with a lot of chronic low back injury history is not going to be wanting to do these. Unless you can really get into your glutes to hold position, you're probably not going to want to do these. And that's really hard to tell, just, you know, to make that clear without seeing you first. We want to see you move, see you squat, see you hinge, see you do some of the movements that we're going to do in the program design session, different from the strategy session. But if you're interested in getting and finding out if this is going to work for you, sign up for that strategy session. We'll be able to do that. It's gritgym.com/SS. But there's another thing going on here. Okay, and this is the really cool thing. Okay, so not only are we building stability through our low back, and we're getting some isometric on our butt and hamstrings, as you can tell when I'm in this position, and we're getting the arms to work, and we're getting that upper back development. Okay, the other thing is that as I raise this up, the angle increases, and when the angle increases, it gets lighter. Okay, that seems weird, right? Like, why would that matter? The point of that is that it accommodates the resistance throughout the whole exercise. So down at the bottom, this is where my arms and my upper back are strongest, down at the bottom. So as I pull up, my arms and upper back actually get weaker because of the angle of my muscles. So if I were to go over here to this barbell, you want to switch me spots? That'll work. So if I were to go over here to this barbell, this bar weighs 45 pounds plus the 50 on there, so that's 95 pounds. So it's going to be 95 pounds at the bottom, 95 pounds at the top. So if I get in position to do my row, it's 95 pounds there, 95 pounds there, 95 pounds there, 95 pounds there. Okay? So this bar, when we're doing the Bent Over Landmine Row, it's going to be heavier down there, if we were to test this, than it is up here, because the angle of that bar changed. Okay, it's no different than doing a push-up on the floor versus a push-up on a windowsill. The push-up on the windowsill is going to be lighter than the push-up on the floor. It's the same thing. It accommodates the resistance. Okay, so if you were going to do, let's say you're going to do a squat. You're going to put a bar on your back and you're going to squat down. If we only had to go halfway down and back up, we can do a lot more weight than if we had to go all the way down and back up, right? It's the same thing. You're going to be stronger in that top half. Okay, you're going to be a little bit weaker down the bottom half. So that's why people put chains on the end of the bar, put bands on the end of the bar, so that as they're coming up, they're accommodating the resistance all the way through. That's the genius of the Bent Over Landmine Row. So not only are we building a lot of good stiffness through the low back, a lot of isometric through the butt and the hamstring, and making like this synergistic effort across the entire body, from the feet and the toes to the fingers and the hands and the upper back, and making them all synergistically work together. We're also accommodating the resistance throughout. Okay, you don't get that with this Bent Over row. You do get that with this Bent Over row. It's pretty cool. I do suggest, if you are going to use this, make sure that you have a stable base. You don't want this thing floating around. You do want to get yourself a V handle, and don't use 45-pound plates. See how that is going to, if I use a 45-pound plate, it's going to come back and jack me in the chest, jack me in the throat if I'm a little out of position. So I don't think you want to use a 45-pound plate. Just stack up your 25s, and it works a little bit better. But that's the genius of the Bent Over Landmine Row. If you're interested in figuring out what exercises are going to work best for you and the strategy that's going to get you to where you want to go, because, I mean, we're going to have a completely different conversation if you're 300 pounds and want to get down to 220 than if you're 170 pounds and you want to get your deadlift up, to 365. Those are two completely different conversations. And your body type, injury history, training age. There's so many things that go into this, and we're going to dig really far into these questions during the strategy session, but it's 100% free. You don't have to pay a dime. We're going to spend 20 to 30 minutes on the phone figuring out what's going to work best for you. To get that strategy session, go to gritgym.com/SS. I think there's a link here in the description, but gritgym.com/SS and get signed up for that, and then we can start developing that plan for you. But hope you like this video. Please comment below. Let me know what you thought. If you have questions about it and what the hell I'm talking about, I'd be happy to answer them there.